Dear spectators of the human tragedy. Boundaries. Those fragile lines we draw in the sand, the invisible shields we erect to protect our souls. They are not mere suggestions, they are the very essence of who we are. Without them, we are left exposed, vulnerable to the sharp claws of those who seek to feed on our weaknesses. We live in a world where the violation of these boundaries is met with a casual indifference, a flippant disregard for the sanctity of our personal space. But let me tell you, my friend, to cross those lines is to invite chaos into your life, to awaken the beasts that lurk in the shadows. History is a witness to this madness. We have seen empires crumble and civilizations fall, each a testament to the consequences of boundary violations. The great rulers who thought themselves untouchable, their arrogance leading them to trample over the rights of others. They believed themselves above reproach, only to find their names etched in infamy. Society does not forgive, it remembers. The echoes of their transgressions resonate through time, a haunting reminder of what happens when respect is thrown to the wind. And then there's the psychological toll. Oh, how it festers. The victim, left to bear the weight of another's arrogance, feels the slow burn of resentment. It eats away at their spirit, leaving a void that can never be filled. They become shadows of their former selves, haunted by the memories of betrayal. But the perpetrator, too, is not free. They wear a mask of confidence, but underneath lies a fragile psyche, cracked and vulnerable. They may not see the destruction they cause until it is far too late, until they stand alone amidst the ruins of their own making. Take a moment to consider the stories that haunt the annals of time. Think of those who dared to trespass on sacred ground, only to face the wrath they so carelessly provoked. The tale of a once loyal friend turned bitter enemy, the lover who crossed the line, igniting a fire that consumed everything in its path. These are not just stories, they are cautionary tales, warning us of the darkness that lies in wait for those who ignore the boundaries set by others. Let's talk about the catastrophic outcomes. Picture the innocent bystander caught in the crossfire of someone else's arrogance, the collateral damage of a power play gone wrong. The world is a stage, and we are all players, but some choose to wield their power like a sword, cutting through the fabric of trust and respect. When the boundaries are crossed, it is not just the individual who suffers, it is the entire tapestry of relationships that unravels, leading to chaos and despair. And what of the silence that follows? The stillness after the storm, where the echoes of laughter and camaraderie are replaced by the cold grip of isolation. Those who cross boundaries often find themselves alone, lost in the very void they created. They are left to grapple with the darkness that seeps into their souls, the realization that their actions have consequences, and those consequences are often far more devastating than they could ever have imagined. So, as you navigate this treacherous landscape of human interaction, remember the importance of boundaries. They are your armor, your shield against the storms of arrogance and betrayal. Respect them, cherish them, and when you see them violated, do not stand idly by. For in the end, it is not just about the ones who cross the lines, it is about the reckoning that follows, a reckoning that is as inevitable as the dawn. The darkness may be alluring, but the strength that comes from standing firm in your convictions is far more powerful. So choose wisely, for the consequences of crossing boundaries are both profound and unyielding. Power, oh what a seductive mistress! It wraps around you like a velvet cloak, whispering sweet nothings into your ear, convincing you that you are invulnerable, untouchable. But beneath that allure lies a perilous abyss, a darkness that gnaws at the edges of your sanity. The illusion of invulnerability is a mirage, shimmering in the distance, leading the arrogant to believe they can stride across the boundaries of others without consequence. Pride, that venomous beast, fuels this reckless dance. It inflates the ego, masks the truth, and blinds the mind to the reality that surrounds. Those who walk this path wear their arrogance like a badge of honor, strutting through life as if the world belongs to them. They see themselves as kings in a realm of peasants, but this delusion is a house of cards, poised to collapse at the slightest touch. The higher they climb, the harder they fall, and the ground below is littered with the remnants of their arrogance. Let's dissect the profiles of these titans of hubris. Take the tyrant who rules with an iron fist, convinced that fear is the only currency that matters. Or the charlatan who spins webs of deceit, ensnaring the unsuspecting in a trap of their own making. Each one believes they are above the law, playing a game where the stakes are human lives. But what they fail to recognize is the fragile nature of power. It is a flickering flame, easily extinguished by the winds of fate. And then there's the false sense of security that comes with this power. It wraps around its bearer like a warm embrace, lulling them into complacency. They ignore the warning signs, dismiss the whispers of caution that echo in their minds. They are blinded by their own grandeur, oblivious to the cracks forming in their carefully constructed facade. But in the shadows, resentment brews, and the very foundations of their dominion begin to tremble. As the arrogance mounts, relationships fracture like glass. Trust, once a sturdy bridge, crumbles under the weight of betrayal. Former allies become adversaries, and the isolation that follows is a chilling reminder of what was lost. The laughter that once filled the air is replaced by the suffocating silence of solitude. These moments of isolation are not mere pauses, they are the deep breaths before the storm, the calm before the reckoning. In this solitude, the soul begins to twist and turn, grappling with the consequences of choices made in the heat of arrogance. Each moment alone is a reminder of the power once wielded and the respect squandered. The very essence of who they were begins to erode, leaving only a husk filled with bitterness. What happens when the walls close in? The anti-hero emerges, forged in the fires of betrayal and resentment. Their motivations become a tangled web of vengeance and a thirst for justice that cannot be quenched. They stand at the crossroads, torn between the darkness swirling within and the flicker of hope that yet remains. The transformation is complete, the predator becomes the prey, and the cycle of power turns, ever relentless. So, let this be a lesson etched into your mind, a warning to those who dare to tread upon the fragile ground of others. Power may seem intoxicating, but it is a double-edged sword, cutting both ways. The higher you rise, the harder you fall, and when the dust settles, it is the shadows that will greet you. Embrace this truth, for the darkness has a way of revealing the depths of your character. In the end, it is not the power that defines you, but your response to the chaos that follows its abuse. The reckoning is inevitable, and it waits patiently in the shadows, ready to reclaim what was lost. In the twilight of shattered dreams, where the echoes of laughter fade into a haunting silence, a transformation begins. Boundaries have been crossed, and the air thickens with the scent of betrayal. The darkness stirs, awakening something primal within those who have been wronged. It is a storm of emotions, a tempest that brews in the depths of the heart, waiting for the moment to unleash its fury. When boundaries are violated, the soul fractures. What was once a sanctuary becomes a battleground, with anger and resentment swirling like shadows. It festers, gnawing at the insides, turning light into darkness, hope into despair. The victims, now engulfed in this abyss, feel the weight of their pain, and it transforms them. Their once gentle spirits harden, and a new identity emerges from the ashes, an anti-hero, born of chaos and fueled by vengeance. The anti-hero stands at the crossroads, caught in a dance between the light they once knew and the darkness that beckons. There is a bittersweet allure to this transformation, a seductive call to embrace the chaos that surrounds them. They are not the villains of the story, they are the reckoning, the force that rises when injustice reigns. It is a complex journey, fought with internal conflict, as they struggle to reconcile the pain inflicted upon them with the power they now wield. Consider the historical figures, the legends that echo through time, those who don the mask of darkness to reclaim their dignity. They understood the depths of betrayal and the chill of isolation. They were once revered, but the violation of their boundaries turned them into something else. They became the harbingers of their own fate, fueled by a determination to rise from the ashes of their despair. Each one a testament to the notion that darkness can be a source of strength, a catalyst for change. In this awakening, the anti-hero thrives in the shadows, their motivations intertwining with a burning desire for justice. They become the embodiment of a fierce resolve, ready to confront the very forces that once oppressed them. The anger they harbor is not a mere flame, it is a raging inferno, a fire that ignites the spirit and stirs the heart. They are no longer victims, they are warriors, armed with the scars of their past, ready to reclaim what was stolen. But this path is not without its burdens. The internal battle rages on, and the anti-hero grapples with the darkness that threatens to consume them. They question their own morality, searching for the line between justice and revenge. Each step taken towards the reckoning is a step deeper into the abyss. The shadows whisper, urging them to surrender to the darkness, to embrace the chaos that feels so familiar yet so foreign. As the transformation unfolds, the anti-hero becomes a reflection of the wounds they carry. Their journey is not solely about vengeance, it is a quest for understanding, for clarity amidst the confusion. They seek to understand why their boundaries were trampled, and in that quest, they find power. The power to confront their oppressors, to reclaim their narrative, and to rise above the pain. In this realm of darkness, the anti-hero emerges as a beacon of strength, a symbol of resilience against the tide of betrayal. They represent the truth that lies buried beneath the ruins of their past. The journey is fought with danger, but the reward is profound. It is the awakening of a spirit that refuses to be broken, a soul that embraces the shadows not as a prison, but as a sanctuary of strength. Let this be a tale to remember. The awakening that follows violation is not merely a descent into darkness, it is the birth of something powerful. It is a reminder that from the depths of despair, one can rise, forge their own identity, and confront the very forces that sought to diminish them. The anti-hero is not a villain, they are the embodiment of a truth long ignored, a force that seeks justice in a world riddled with chaos. In the aftermath of chaos, where the dust settles but the wounds remain raw, a different kind of realization creeps in, an unsettling awareness of isolation. Power, once a thrilling high, morphs into a heavy shackle, binding the soul in relentless solitude. It's a bitter irony, really. The very thing that promised strength and control becomes the very thing that strips away connection, leaving one adrift in a sea of silence. Imagine standing atop a towering peak, the world beneath you trembling at your feet, and yet, as you gaze out, you see nothing but shadows. The applause fades, replaced by the echo of your own heartbeat, a haunting reminder of the loneliness that accompanies unchecked ambition. You wield power like a sword, yet with each swing, you sever the ties that bind you to others. The thrill turns to dread, the cheers morph into whispers behind closed doors, and suddenly, you find yourself engulfed in a void that feels infinite. Each fleeting moment of control chips away at the foundation of your relationships. Friends become ghosts, allies dissolve into vapor, and the once vibrant colors of life dull into shades of gray. In your quest for dominance, you've trampled over the very bonds that gave your existence meaning. The isolation seeps in like a cold mist, wrapping around you, squeezing tighter with every passing day. You become the architect of your own desolation, a solitary figure on a throne made of broken connections. The emotional toll is insidious. It gnaws at the edges of your sanity, whispering sweet nothings that twist into dark thoughts. The laughter that once filled the air is replaced by the haunting echoes of your own solitude. You roam the empty halls of your mind, haunted by the specters of those you've lost along the way. The realization hits like a sledgehammer. Power is a double-edged sword, and the cut is deep. As you navigate this desolate landscape, a familiar bitterness rises within you, an anger that simmers, waiting for the moment to erupt. You've tasted betrayal, but now you swallow the bitter pill of regret. Isolation breeds darkness, and in that darkness, a new resolve takes root. The shadows become your confidants, the silence your ally. You no longer seek approval. Instead, you embrace the solitude as a crucible to forge your new identity. In this isolation, the metamorphosis begins. You become the anti-hero of your own story, a figure sculpted by the very darkness that once threatened to consume you. The pain transforms into purpose, as you channel your resentment into a driving force for change. You stand on the precipice, ready to unleash the storm that has been brewing within. The thrill of power now feels like a distant memory, replaced by the exhilarating rush of reclaiming your narrative. You are no longer the puppet, you are the puppeteer, pulling the strings of fate. The once dominant figures who belittled your boundaries now find themselves trembling in your shadow. You rise not from a place of malice, but from a deep understanding of the cost of isolation. And so, you march forward, armed with the scars of your past, the weight of isolation fueling your every step. The journey ahead is dark, but it is also laced with the promise of redemption. You will confront the forces that sought to diminish you, not just for yourself, but for all those who have suffered in silence. The reckoning is on the horizon, and you will not be a mere spectator. You will be the storm that shakes the very foundations of power itself. In the grand tapestry of life, isolation may be a thread, but it is one that weaves strength into the fabric of your being. You are the embodiment of resilience, standing tall in the face of betrayal. This is your truth, your power, an unwavering force born from the depths of solitude, ready to reclaim what is rightfully yours. The shadows are no longer a place of despair. They have become a sanctuary of strength, reminder that even in isolation, you can rise. In the suffocating grip of solitude, where echoes of past laughter fade into a distant memory, a singular truth emerges from the darkness: regret. It creeps in like a thief in the night, stealing away the very essence of who you once were. Each moment of clarity feels like a dagger, sharp and unforgiving, piercing through the veil of arrogance that once wrapped around your heart. The weight of your choices settles heavily upon your shoulders, a relentless reminder of the havoc wrought in your pursuit of power. Imagine standing in a desolate wasteland, the ruins of your once bright relationships scattered like broken glass at your feet. Each shard reflects a memory, a moment of connection now lost to the abyss of your ambition. You look upon them, and with every breath, the suffocating guilt wraps tighter around your throat. The thrill of dominance has turned to ash, and you are left with the bitter taste of consequences. In this moment of reckoning, the burden of guilt gnaws at your spirit, eroding the foundation of your very being. You feel it, a corrosive force that seeps into your thoughts, twisting them into a tangled web of self-loathing and despair. The path you chose, paved with the bones of those you disregarded, now feels like a prison. You stand guilty before your own reflection, a ghost of the person you once sought to be. As you sift through the debris of your choices, the struggle between redemption and darkness swells within you. The allure of power had promised everything, yet it left you hollow, a puppet dancing on the strings of your own making. You search for meaning amidst the wreckage, desperate to reclaim the pieces of your shattered identity. Redemption calls to you, a distant whisper that feels both terrifying and tantalizing. But can you grasp it without losing yourself entirely? In the shadows, you sense the stirrings of something profound. It is a flicker of hope, ignited by the recognition of your past wrongs. You think of the faces you've wronged, the bonds severed by your ambition, and a fire ignites within. This is not merely a fight for yourself, it is a battle for those who stood by you, who believed in you, and who are now lost in the darkness you created. The realization dawns: you are not beyond saving, but the path to redemption is fraught with peril. As the weight of your regret becomes a catalyst for change, you find yourself at a crossroads. The darkness that once threatened to consume you transforms into a forge, shaping your resolve into a weapon against the very forces that led you astray. The shadows, once your prison, now become your allies. They whisper secrets of strength, urging you to rise from the ashes of your own destruction. Each step forward is a rebellion against the chains of your past. The faces of those you've hurt flash before you, not as specters of guilt, but as reminders of the stakes of your journey. You are not alone in your suffering. Your mistakes have woven a complex tapestry of pain that stretches far beyond your own existence. The burden of regret transforms into a clarion call, a rallying cry for justice that reverberates through the void. You embrace the darkness, not with fear, but with a fierce determination. It becomes your armor, shielding you from the remnants of your former self. This is your metamorphosis, the birth of a new identity forged in the fires of sorrow and reflection. You are not merely seeking forgiveness, you are demanding accountability. The reckoning is inevitable, and you shall wield your regret as both a shield and a sword. In the grand theater of life, the weight of your past is not a sentence but a passage. You step into the light, not as the hero you once envisioned, but as the anti-hero crafted by the echoes of isolation and the sharp sting of remorse. This is your truth, your journey, no longer a solitary path, but a collective march towards justice, where every step resonates with the promise of redemption. You will not merely confront the forces that sought to diminish you, but you will rise to reclaim not just your narrative, but also the stories of those who have been silenced. The time for reckoning is upon you, and as the shadows gather, you stand resolute, ready to face the storm with a heart forged in the fires of regret and a soul ignited by the flames of redemption. In the stillness that follows a storm, when the air is thick with the scent of rain-soaked earth and the silent screams of what's been lost, the reckoning begins. It is the moment where the shadows of your past take form, a haunting parade of all the choices that led you here. You may think you can escape the consequences of your actions, but the truth is as relentless as time itself. It will find you, lurking in the corners of your mind, waiting for the right moment to strike. Picture this, a dimly lit alley, the walls closing in like a noose around your neck. You feel the weight of your past pressing against your chest, the voices of those you've wronged echoing in the recesses of your soul. This is where justice thrives, not in the light of day, but in the hidden crevices of a world that has learned to bend and break under the weight of power. Here, the reckoning takes shape, a dark entity fueled by the fury of those who have suffered under your hand. You remember the thrill, don't you? The intoxicating rush of control that coursed through your veins like fire. But with that power came an arrogance that blinded you to the truth. You thought you were untouchable, but king in a castle built on the ruins of others. Yet, as the walls begin to crumble, you realize that the very throne you sat upon was nothing more than a precarious perch. The ground beneath you shifts, and the specters of your victims gather, whispering tales of betrayal and pain. Justice does not forget. It festers in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to emerge. You may have believed you could evade it, but it is a relentless tide, rising higher with each act of defiance against the order you imposed. The anti-hero, the figure that once thrived on chaos, now finds themselves tangled in their own web of deceit. The reckoning is not a singular event, it is a culmination of all the wrongs, a tide that sweeps across the landscape of your existence, reshaping the very ground you stand on. As you stand at the precipice of this reckoning, you confront not just those you wronged, but the very essence of your being. The darkness you wielded as a weapon now turns against you, a double-edged sword that cuts to the core of your identity. The shadows are not merely an audience, they are the architects of your fate, waiting to see how you will respond to the chaos you unleashed. Will you embrace the darkness and wield it against those who wronged you, or will you rise above it, seeking a path to redemption that feels just beyond your grasp? In this moment of confrontation, the lines blurred between victim and perpetrator. The anti-hero stands not as a savior but as a reflection of the choices made. You are both the hunter and the hunted, the orchestrator of your own demise. The reckoning is not just about justice, it is about understanding the profound interconnectedness of all lives entwined in this narrative. Your actions have consequences that ripple through the fabric of existence, and now, the time has come to face the music. As the shadows close in, you feel the weight of inevitability. The reckoning is a storm on the horizon, and you are left to navigate the chaos that follows. The echoes of laughter that once filled the air are replaced by a silence that speaks volumes. Justice will not come swiftly, it will seep into your bones, a slow burn that reminds you of every wrong turn taken. Yet, amidst the encroaching darkness, there lies a flicker of defiance. You are not merely a puppet of fate, you possess the power to choose how this reckoning unfolds. Stand firm against the tide of despair, for in this moment of truth, you can either drown in the depths of your regrets or rise as a phoenix from the ashes of your past. The reckoning is not the end, it is the beginning of a new chapter, one where you reclaim your narrative and confront the shadows with the fierce intensity of your spirit. So, let the reckoning commence. Embrace the chaos, for in it lies the opportunity to redefine who you are. You are no longer just a figure shrouded in darkness. You are the embodiment of justice waiting to be awakened. The path ahead is fraught with peril, but it is also rich with the promise of transformation. Stand resolute, for the time has come to face not just the consequences, but the very essence of your existence. In the aftermath of chaos, when the smoke of destruction clears, what remains is a haunting emptiness. It is a void that echoes with the whispers of lost souls, each one a reminder of the boundaries crossed and the lives shattered. You stand in this desolation, a solitary figure amidst the wreckage of your choices, and the question arises, what have you truly learned from this darkness? The shadows that once offered comfort now unveil a harsh truth. Every transgression leaves a scar, not only on the victim but on the very fabric of your being. Consider the boundaries we draw, fragile lines etched in the sand of our relationships. They are not mere constructs but lifelines that define our existence, our respect for one another. When those lines are breached, the repercussions ripple outward like stones thrown into a still pond. The water may settle, but the disturbances linger, a constant reminder of the disruption. The world is a mirror reflecting our actions back at us, and as you gaze into it, what do you see? A figure cloaked in arrogance, blinded by a power that was never truly yours to wield. You may find solace in the belief that strength lies in dominance, but I tell you, true power emerges from understanding and respecting the boundaries of others. It is a quiet strength, like the roots of an ancient tree, deep and unyielding. The moment you disregard these boundaries, you not only strip away the autonomy of others, but also imprison yourself within a cage of your own making. Isolation becomes your only companion, and in that solitude, darkness festers. Reflect on the emotional toll of this isolation. The thrill of power is a fleeting high, and soon it gives way to a crushing realization. You look around and see nothing but shadows, echoes of laughter turn to whispers of disdain. Friends become phantoms, and allies evaporate into thin air. You are left to confront the truth alone, wrestling with the demons that thrive on your regret. In this darkened space, the weight of your choices becomes unbearable, yet it is precisely in this crucible of despair that the opportunity for redemption lies. Self-awareness is the key that unlocks the door to transformation. It demands that you look into the abyss and acknowledge the darkness within. It is not an easy task, but it is a necessary one. Each moment of reflection strips away the layers of arrogance, revealing the raw, unvarnished truth of who you are. You are not just the sum of your misdeeds, you are a complex being capable of growth, change, and ultimately, understanding. The broader implications of boundary violations extend far beyond the individual. They weave a tapestry of societal discord, where mistrust and anger fester in communities. Each act of disrespect sends shockwaves through the collective psyche, creating an environment ripe for chaos. As you stand on the precipice of this realization, ask yourself, what kind of world do you wish to inhabit? A world where power reigns supreme, or one where respect and understanding flourish? Engaging in dialogue about boundaries is not merely an act of defiance, it is a revolutionary step towards healing. It is an acknowledgement that we are all intertwined, that your actions affect those around you. The scars you leave behind can either serve as a reminder of pain or a catalyst for growth. Embrace the opportunity to redefine your narrative, to transform the darkness into a source of strength. In this moment of reckoning, let the shadows guide you towards the light of self-discovery. Stand firm, for the path ahead is fraught with challenges, but it is also rich with the promise of transformation. You are not condemned to repeat the sins of your past, you are the architect of your future. The power to change lies within you, waiting to be unleashed. So, rise from the ashes, confront your demons, and reclaim your existence. The time has come to face not only the consequences of your actions, but to redefine the very essence of who you are. Embrace the chaos of your choices. If you believe that true strength is forged in the fires of adversity, share this message. Tell us how confronting your own darkness has reshaped your reality. Comment below with your story of resilience and redemption. Subscribe for more gritty insights that challenge the status quo and empower you to rise from the shadows. Remember, in the depths of despair lies the power to redefine your fate. Will you take the leap?